So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to intermediate tutorial series for Python. So in this part we're going to learn about Argparse CLI. So many people might or might not know about CLI. So CLI is simply command line interface like CMD in Windows and terminal in Linux. So what this method does is it will take this script or any script and you can initialize variable like this directly from command line, or you can just test your script out directly from command line. It is not very hectic or stuff like that. So if you wanna use that script, you can always find a link in description and you can download the source code. But now we're going to import modules, sys, and import Argparse. So after that we're going to define a function which will run when we call the script from CLI. So we'll define main and we will first declare a parser object. So to do that we will require Argparse module. So we will do Argparse. So Argparse, as name suggests, mean argument parser. So its name tell us the reality of what it does. So it is argument parser. So we'll use its class argument parser. You have to pay attention. A should be capital and P should be capital. It's a class. Anything in Python in this format is a class, and this is the object of this class. So how do I know that? I know that because I know Pepit. So Pepit is basic convention of Python programming. If you wanna know, like there's a convention to separate two functions by single line. This is a Pepit convention, and if you wanna, like, it's not a necessity, but if you follow it you can just know stuff like this is a class and many more stuff like that. It will make the recognition of many things easier. So now we are going to add an argument by function add argument in parser object. So we will learn about stuff like that in object-oriented programming. Now pay attention. The variable that we have declared here should be one of those parameters, because our parser object should know which value are we adding from our function. So just for the record, and now we're going to declare the type of this argument, which would be float. So float, and after that we're going to declare a default value which would be 1.0 because it's a float type, and then the last thing would be help. We'll learn more about help in the later part of this tutorial surely, and the help would be enter base value. So enter base value. Now I'm going to copy this line and I'll just directly paste it into the other, because our second variable, that is raise, is quite similar. You have to just change name and help. So name is raise and help should be exponent. So exponent. It's done. Now if you want to use this function, I'll link the source code in description. You can just directly download, because writing this function out in real practice of Argparse would be nonsense. So you can just directly download it. Now I'm going to parse this object in a variable named args, so that we can use these added arguments in some way. So we need to parse this object. So we'll use a method named parse args in our object parser. So parse args, here's it, and after that we are going to output our result, that is written power int a and int raise. We need to output it out. We can use print, but print in some cases don't work, so we'll just stick to sys. So sys.standardoutput.write, we'll write it in string format, and then the name of the function TP, and then the new parameters args, because now the added arguments are being parsed in args. So we need to parse these new arguments in args, and as we have changed the parameter of this function here, we need to change the parameter of this function here also. So new parameter will be args. Now we don't need this part, we will just comment it out, because in console we just need output. So now we are going to change these variables also, so that our parser know which object are we referring to from our added arguments. Okay, it's pretty much it. Erase, and now we're going to make like tell our script that this script is being actually called by doing if name equals main, then we should run main. So what this method does is it will tell the script or the CLI that this program is being actually called. Otherwise, if you're importing this script into another script, then this function main should not run. And it is quite understandable why it should not run if you're importing the script. So what it just do is tell the compiler or your CLI that this script is being actually called. Now we need to call the script on our CMD. So the name is CLI.py, and we've got an output 1 from our default values. So now we can just test it out on our new values. Let's say CLI.py, and now we are going to give it some values. .a should be equal to, let's say, 12, and our next variable, that is minus raise is equal to 19, and enter, and we will have an output. Yeah, it is super fast. You have got your output directly on your console. Isn't it exciting? And we have another variable named help, so let's test it out what it do. So CLI.py minus help, and we have our help. So it tells us to enter base value, enter exponent value in raise and a. So as simple as that. We can also call our help method just by typing CLI.py and -h. It will also return back help. So it's quite simple. So this is all about Argparse. I thought it should be included because sometimes you need to run scripts or test your scripts out without opening an editor, because I'm quite lazy and I like that. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or any suggestions, you can just go in description and comments. It's open for you. So without any further ado, let's end this tutorial, and I'm just planning some new things. Let's see if it happens. Let's see. So thank you for watching, and if you want, subscribe.